The ocean begins as a whisper, and that whisper has always been with us, even before we were born, even before the first heartbeats found their rhythm in the dark. When you lie down and close your eyes, you can imagine it wrapping around the world, an endless cradle of blue that hums softly with age. The ocean is not only water, it is memory, time, and the gentle presence of something vast yet calm, something that holds us without asking for anything in return. Tonight, let us drift upon it, slowly, carefully, as if the very act of listening to its secrets is what rocks us to sleep. There are 100 facts about the ocean, each one a secret softly unwrapped, and the first 10 come to you now like waves, one after another, never sharp, only soothing. The first fact is that the ocean covers more than 70% of our planet, though we call this place Earth. When you breathe in, you might think of soil, of stone, of forests, but most of the air filling your lungs is a gift from the sea. Tiny drifting organisms called phytoplankton rise and fall with the sunlight, drinking in its glow, releasing oxygen like invisible lanterns. Without them, our sky would be thinner, our breath shorter. To know this is to know that every inhale you take is tied gently to the tides, and when you rest tonight, you are breathing in harmony with the ocean itself. The second fact is that the ocean is older than memory, older than mountains, older than the bones of the continents. Its waters first gathered 4 billion years ago, and though the waves we hear now are newly born each moment, their song is ancient. Imagine lying at the edge of a shore where time folds upon itself, every wave carrying whispers not only of today, but of worlds that have already passed. To listen to the ocean is to place your ear to eternity and feel its slow, endless rhythm, the same rhythm that guides your heart toward calmness as you drift into sleep. The third fact is that the ocean is not quiet. Though to us it may sound like a hush, within its depths the water sings with voices, whales calling across miles, dolphins clicking, shrimp crackling in small coral caves, and the slow groan of shifting icebergs far to the north. The sea is a choir, and every note it plays vibrates through the body of the planet. Some of these sounds travel farther than any human voice ever could. Even now, as you rest, somewhere beneath the waves a whale's song is stretching through the dark, so far and so deep that it becomes a lullaby not only for its own kind, but for the earth itself. The fourth fact is that light barely touches the ocean. Sunlight, the tender warmth we know, fades away quickly once it enters water. Beyond just a few hundred meters, the ocean becomes an eternal twilight, and then a deeper darkness. Yet this is not emptiness. It is a darkness filled with life. Creatures there carry their own stars within them, glowing softly with bioluminescence. Tiny sparks drift like fireflies, jellyfish pulse like lanterns, fish flash signals like secret messages. To dream of this darkness is not to fear it, but to see it as a second sky, one turned inward, where constellations move in silence beneath the waves. As you fall asleep, you may picture this hidden galaxy, glowing quietly, a reminder that even in the places we call shadow, light finds its way to bloom. The fifth fact is that the ocean holds the greatest mountains and valleys on Earth, though most of us will never see them. The mid-ocean ridge is the longest mountain chain in the world, winding like a scar across the seafloor, stretching for 40,000 miles. And then, there is the Mariana Trench, deeper than any peak is tall, a place where pressure is so immense that it could crush steel, yet delicate forms of life drift there, unhurried. These unseen landscapes remind us that the world is bigger than our eyes can measure. They exist quietly, patiently, without need of witness. As you let go of wakefulness, you too can imagine these hidden worlds, resting in silence far below, reminding you that mystery is not frightening, but comforting, a blanket of the unknown that holds us gently. The sixth fact is that the ocean is a mirror for the moon. Every tide, every soft rising and falling of the water along the shore, is the moon's touch upon Earth. Without the moon's pull, the seas would lie still, and many creatures that depend on these rhythms would not exist. Some crabs hatch their eggs only at high tide, as if listening for the moon's cue. Coral spawns by the full moon, glowing like underwater fireworks. The ocean dances in time with the night sky, and when you see waves lapping at the beach, you are seeing the moon's invisible hand at work. Tonight, as you lie beneath the same moon, you are also a part of this dance, swayed by gravity, by rhythm, by the quiet pull of the cosmos. The seventh fact is that the ocean is filled with drifting travelers. Currents carry warm water from the equator to the poles and cold water back again, in great loops that circle the globe. These currents are like the planet's blood, carrying warmth, shaping climate, and connecting distant shores. A message in a bottle might take years to find land again, carried silently by these hidden rivers. Imagine yourself floating with them, slowly, with no urgency, drifting from one horizon to another, the world turning gently around you. The ocean reminds us that movement does not always mean rushing. Sometimes it means surrendering to flow, trusting that the journey will always find its way. The eighth fact is that the ocean is a memory keeper. Salt, the taste of the sea upon your lips, is ancient. Each crystal of salt is a trace of minerals dissolved from rock over millions of years, carried to the sea by rivers, concentrated drop by drop. When you taste it, you are tasting time itself, a flavor that is older than language, older than our species, a reminder that the ocean carries within it the story of Earth. To let this thought settle in your mind is to feel the way your own memories, even the faint ones, rest inside you, not as heavy burdens, but as soft minerals dissolved in the water of your being, shaping you quietly, invisibly. The ninth fact is that the ocean is home to forests you cannot walk in, but that breathe with you nonetheless. Vast meadows of seagrass wave gently beneath shallow waters, while kelp forests rise like green cathedrals, stretching toward the surface. In their shelter, countless creatures live and hide, from seahorses to bright fish. These forests release oxygen, buffer waves, and cradle life. To imagine them is to walk through a dream garden beneath the surface, where everything moves slowly, gracefully, as if time itself has learned to sway. As you breathe in now, you may feel as though these underwater forests are breathing with you, their leaves and fronds moving in rhythm with your chest. The 10th fact is that the ocean is still mostly unknown. More than 80% of its depths remain unmapped, unmeasured, unseen. We know more about the surface of the moon than we do about the bottom of our own seas. And yet, this unknowing is not a void, it is a comfort. To live with mystery is to live with possibility, with wonder that is never finished. When you close your eyes tonight, you rest inside that same mystery, surrounded not by emptiness, but by the gentle embrace of all that is still waiting to be discovered. In this way, The ocean teaches us that we do not need every answer in order to rest. Sometimes it is enough to float upon what we do not yet know, letting it carry us softly toward tomorrow. And so, the ocean's first 10 secrets unfold like ripples, each one touching the next, each one joining into a story that does not end but simply slows, like waves at low tide. As you listen, you may feel your own thoughts quieting, each breath stretching longer, each moment slipping toward the stillness of sleep. The sea does not rush. It waits, patient, eternal, carrying both the known and the unknown in its arms. Tonight, it carries you as well. The ocean does not end where the shore fades. It begins again and again with each wave, each current, each quiet stirring beneath the moon. If the first secrets open slowly, like a door to a hidden garden, then the next arrive as lanterns placed along a path you did not know existed. To listen is to wander this path without hurry, allowing the sea to unfold its mysteries in the same pace as your heartbeat, steady and calm, leading you deeper into rest. Tonight, the ocean has more to tell. 10 new truths, 10 new breaths, each one soft as a lullaby. The 11th fact is that the ocean carries more life than we can imagine. In every single drop of seawater, invisible worlds drift quietly. A single teaspoon can hold millions of microorganisms, tiny plankton, drifting larvae, seeds of creatures yet to grow. These are the smallest threads in the web of existence, unseen yet essential, glowing faintly in their own rhythms. When you picture them, imagine galaxies in miniature, whole universes hidden in a droplet. It is humbling to know that even the water brushing against your skin at the shore carries uncountable lives, moving gently, unseen companions reminding you that you are never truly alone. The 12th fact is that coral reefs, though they make up less than 1% of the ocean floor, are home to more than a quarter of all marine species. They are rainforests beneath the waves, bright cities of color and movement. Tiny polyps, creatures no bigger than the tip of your finger, build these palaces from limestone, working slowly, tirelessly, for centuries. Imagine sleeping inside such a reef, where every corner is alive with soft flickers, every stone is breathing. To dream of coral is to dream of patience, of small lives that, together, create something greater than themselves, something lasting. And as you drift toward sleep, you may feel your own life as part of such a reef, one note in the wider song, no less important, no less luminous. The 13th fact is that the ocean moves with invisible rivers. Deep beneath the surface, thermohaline currents flow like the hidden heartbeat of Earth. Warm, salty water sinks and cold water rises, creating great conveyor belts that take centuries to complete their loops. These currents connect every ocean to every other, binding the globe in a slow embrace. Picture yourself drifting with one of these hidden streams, carried gently from pole to pole, across centuries, across worlds. To know this is to remember that time is not always counted in hours or days, but in cycles too vast for our waking lives to measure. As you let go of thought, you may feel yourself part of this same timeless drift, moving without effort, only flow. The 14th fact is that the ocean shapes our sky. Clouds are born from its breath, lifted from its surface, carried by winds to far-off lands. Rain falls where once it was a wave, filling rivers, watering trees, finding its way back again to the sea. The water that touches your lips when you drink may once have drifted through coral gardens, or sunk into trenches, or risen as mist above distant shores. To drink is to taste the endless cycle of ocean and sky, a gentle reminder that we are always carried within this circle, never outside of it. When you rest, the same circle folds around you, cradling you in a rhythm that has always been. The 15th fact is that the ocean glows. Along certain coasts, where waves break upon the sand, the water shimmers with living light. This is the work of bioluminescent plankton, stirred by motion, awakened to shine. At night, footsteps across the wet shore can leave glowing prints, as if stars have fallen to the ground. In the gentle rocking of a boat, the wake becomes a trail of liquid fire, a lantern lit by the sea itself. Imagine sleeping with that glow around you, every movement a soft light, every ripple a quiet spark. It is as if the ocean dreams with you, painting your passage in stars. The 16th fact is that the ocean has its own heartbeat. Scientists have discovered a slow, repeating rhythm in deep currents, pulsing every few hours, shaping the flow of water across the globe. This pulse is not heard by our ears, but it exists, steady, unbroken. To imagine it is to place your hand on the chest of the earth itself and feel it breathing. As your own pulse slows tonight, you might align it with this deeper rhythm, surrendering your heart to the quiet beat of the sea, steady as sleep itself. The 17th fact is that some creatures in the ocean never stop glowing with strangeness. The immortal jellyfish, tiny and fragile, can return its body to a younger state, beginning life again and again, as though time has no claim upon it. It drifts quietly, unseen by most, but within it lies a secret about renewal. Imagine this softness, the ability to rest, to reset, to begin anew. As you drift toward sleep, you may carry that same thought, that tomorrow you too begin again, restored, renewed, carried gently forward by the ocean's wisdom. The 18th fact is that the ocean shapes our dreams even on land. Its rhythms, its tides, its long hush have entered our stories, our myths, our lullabies. Ancient sailors steered by stars across it. Poets compared love to its depths. Children fall asleep to the sound of its waves, whether real or imagined. The ocean is not only water, it is memory, culture, the pulse of our species. To let this thought in is to feel the ocean not as something outside you, but within you, woven into language, song, and the slow rocking that soothes you now. The 19th fact is that islands rise and vanish because of the sea. Volcanoes beneath the waves erupt, building new land in silence. Over time, currents and storms wear some away until they disappear beneath the surface again. Nothing is permanent, yet nothing is lost. Even the drowned islands remain part of the sea's story, shaping currents, giving home to coral and fish. As you rest, you may think of your own thoughts, rising and fading like islands, forming and dissolving, leaving behind not emptiness but quiet traces that nourish what comes next. The 20th fact is that the ocean teaches slowness. Whales travel across thousands of miles with patience, gliding rather than rushing. Turtles return to the beaches where they were born decades later, moving with no haste, only certainty. Currents loop for centuries. Coral grows millimeter by millimeter. The sea does not hurry, and yet everything it holds finds its place. Tonight, as you surrender to sleep, you too can take in that lesson. that there is no need to rush into tomorrow, no urgency in the dark. There is only the soft drift, the quiet tide, carrying you exactly where you are meant to go. And so, the ocean reveals more of itself, not with loud declaration, but with gentle unfolding. 10 more truths have passed over you like waves, each one leaving a soft trace, each one carrying you deeper into calmness. The sea does not ask you to remember them all. It only asks you to listen, to let its rhythm become your rhythm, until the boundaries between thought and tide dissolve. And as the story settles into silence, you may feel as though the ocean itself has laid down beside you, keeping watch as your own tide slows, and you drift into the deep, dark, gentle rest that waits. The ocean continues to open itself like a dream that deepens the longer you drift within it. What began as whispers has now become a quiet presence, a steady cradle of sound and silence that carries you farther with each breath. You do not need to move quickly. The ocean has never hurried, and in its patience you may find your own. Tonight, it reveals more, secrets shaped over millions of years, truths hidden beneath waves and currents. 10 more lanterns glowing softly in the dark, guiding you toward rest. The 21st fact is that the ocean is layered, not only in depth, but in meaning. Above lies the sunlit zone, where light dances and colors bloom, where fish shimmer like fragments of mirrors. Below it lies twilight, dim and hushed, where blue becomes indigo and shadows stretch long. Beneath all is the midnight zone, where darkness folds over itself, endless and still. These layers are not walls, but veils, soft boundaries where life shifts and transforms. To imagine them is to think of your own mind, where thoughts rest in sunlight, memories drift in twilight, and dreams dwell in the midnight zone. As you fall asleep, you too sink through these layers, gentle, steady, unafraid. The 22nd fact is that the ocean is home to giants. The blue whale, the largest animal to ever live on Earth, glides through its waters with a calm grace. Larger than any dinosaur, longer than a school bus, heavier than 100 elephants, yet it feeds only on the smallest of creatures, tiny krill, drifting clouds of life. Imagine that paradox, something so vast sustained by what seems so small. In this, there is a lesson for you as well, that greatness can come from gentleness, that even the largest journeys are carried on the backs of the smallest breaths. Tonight, as you rest, you may feel the presence of these quiet giants, moving slowly beneath the stars, their songs echoing through the dark as lullabies meant for the earth itself. The 23rd fact is that the ocean protects us, though we rarely notice. It absorbs much of the heat from the sun, preventing the land from burning too quickly. It drinks in carbon dioxide, storing it in its depths, tempering the air we breathe. It holds storms, it softens climates, it keeps the earth from being too wild, too extreme. The ocean is not only a body of water, but a body of balance, an unseen guardian of our fragile world. To think of this is to imagine a vast, patient being holding us in its embrace, keeping us steady as we sleep, guarding us without demand for recognition. The 24th fact is that the ocean speaks in colors. Shallow waters shine turquoise, where sand and sunlight mix. Deeper waters turn cobalt, stretching into sapphire. In places where plankton bloom, the sea glows emerald, while coral reefs bloom with colors brighter than rainbows. To look at the ocean is to see a painter at work, layering shades upon shades, a canvas that shifts with every hour. And yet, beneath all those colors lies one truth. The deeper you go, the more everything returns to blue. Tonight, as your mind sinks beneath wakefulness, it too softens into blue, a calm, quiet hue that holds you gently until morning. The 25th fact is that the ocean has deserts. Though we imagine it as always full of life, there are vast stretches where nutrients are scarce, where water is clear but empty, where silence reigns. Yet even there, in these quiet voids, life finds a way. Drifting travelers, patient wanderers, creatures that need little yet endure much. These deserts remind us that emptiness is not absence. It is space, waiting. It is stillness, fertile in its own quiet way. When you close your eyes, you may find deserts within your own thoughts, places that feel empty. But if you wait, you may notice that even they are alive with quiet, invisible movements. The 26th fact is that the ocean creates islands of life where you would least expect them. In the deep, where darkness rules, hydrothermal vents rise like chimneys, spewing warmth and minerals into the cold. Around them, strange ecosystems bloom. Giant tube worms, ghostly crabs, creatures with no eyes, but with resilience older than imagination. These vents are reminders that life needs not sunlight to exist. It can thrive in the most unlikely places. To dream of this is to remember that warmth, too, can be found in the darkest moments, and that even when everything seems cold, there is always a hidden fire sustaining life. The 27th fact is that the ocean remembers sound longer than air does. Waves carry echoes across miles, holding onto voices and vibrations far longer than the sky. Whale songs, ship engines, storms, even the rumble of earthquakes can travel through water for vast distances. In this way, the ocean is a library of sound, keeping what the air would quickly forget. Imagine resting within such a library, where every tone is softened, drawn out, stretched into eternity. Tonight, as you sink into sleep, your own breath becomes part of this ocean of sound, a quiet note carried onward into the stillness. The 28th fact is that the ocean writes upon the shore. Each tide reshapes the beach, drawing lines, leaving shells, carrying driftwood, smoothing stones. No day is ever the same as the last, though the changes are often too small for us to see. This is the slow writing of water upon land, the gentle handwriting of time. To watch it is to remember that change does not always arrive with violence. It often comes softly, grain by grain, until the world is reshaped in silence. Tonight, as you let go of the weight of today, you too are being reshaped, gently, invisibly, by the slow tide of rest. The 29th fact is that the ocean is both boundary and bridge. It separates continents, yet it connects them. It keeps cultures apart, yet it carried them together, as ships and sails crossed its surface, sharing stories, goods, and dreams. It is a paradox, both divider and unifier, both distance and closeness. To hold this thought in your mind is to see your own life reflected, where boundaries sometimes protect you, yet bridges always remain. As you sleep, you drift across such a bridge, moving from the land of waking to the sea of dreams, never fearing the crossing, only surrendering to it. The 30th fact is that the ocean waits. It has seen ice ages and fires, storms and calms, the rise and fall of civilizations, and still it moves at its own pace, steady as breath. In its patience, there is a kind of wisdom, one that reminds us that nothing needs to be rushed, that everything finds its time. Tonight, as you surrender to sleep, imagine yourself as part of that patience, floating upon water that has known eternity, resting upon a surface that carries both the past and the future, but demands nothing of you in this moment except rest. The sea has no beginning and no end, only movement, only return. Each wave is both the first and the last, a circle that cannot be broken. By now, the hush of the water has grown familiar, like the steady rocking of a cradle. What seemed vast now feels close, like a companion sitting beside your bed, telling you stories older than stone. Tonight, the ocean leans closer, and its next 10 secrets slip into your thoughts like tides into shore, gentle and inevitable, pulling you deeper into stillness. The 31st fact is that the ocean is salt because of rain. For millions of years, raindrops have fallen on mountains, carving rivers, carrying minerals down to the sea. Bit by bit, grain by grain, these minerals have dissolved, adding their taste to the water. That is why the ocean tastes like time itself, the memory of mountains carried in every drop. When you close your eyes, you may imagine those rivers running endlessly downhill, whispering their stories into the great body of water until all the world's journeys end in the same quiet embrace. The 32nd fact is that the ocean hides its deepest silence in trenches that few will ever see. Down there, in darkness so complete it feels eternal, pressure crushes and yet life continues. Ghostly fish with slow movements, translucent creatures with soft bodies, all endure in patience. They do not need sunlight to exist, only the quiet generosity of minerals and time. To dream of these depths is to feel the weight of silence itself, not as a burden but as comfort, a reminder that silence is not emptiness. It is shelter, a place where life may rest unseen yet unbroken. The 33rd fact is that waves do not truly travel across the sea. What moves is energy, not the water itself. Each drop of water only circles gently in place, rising and falling, passing the motion along. The wave is a message, not a body. Imagine yourself as that circle, rising and falling softly, without needing to go anywhere. You do not need to travel to be moved. You only need to sway, like water, like breath. Tonight, your thoughts too are only waves, passing ripples, not weighty things, not burdens, only energy that comes and goes. The 34th fact is that the ocean carries rivers within itself. Along its surface, warm waters slide above cold ones. Beneath, hidden layers drift at their own pace. These inner rivers are invisible to the eye, yet they flow with as much certainty as any mountain stream. Creatures ride these currents like invisible highways, finding food, finding home. To imagine them is to think of your own hidden currents, feelings and thoughts moving beneath the surface of your mind, guiding you even when you do not see them. As you drift toward sleep, those currents carry you gently, never lost, always flowing toward rest. The 35th fact is that sand itself is the ocean's diary. Every grain was once something else, a mountain, a shell, a coral, a piece of glass, broken, ground, carried, softened. To hold sand is to hold millions of years, the patience of time written small. And when the tide moves across the beach, it rewrites that diary again, scattering the grains, telling the story in new shapes. To rest tonight is to be like sand, letting the tide move across you, rearranging your day, smoothing the sharpness of thought until all that remains is softness. The 36th fact is that storms begin in the ocean's breath. Warm water rises, carrying energy into the sky, spiraling into clouds, into winds. Hurricanes and typhoons are born from the sea, yet even their violence begins with warmth, with the tender rising of vapor. To know this is to remember that even great storms are made of something small and soft. And just as they rise, they also pass, always returning to calm. Tonight, you are safe within that calm, breathing slowly, letting the storm of your waking thoughts drift away, leaving only the quiet sea of sleep. The 37th fact is that the ocean reflects the stars. Sailors once steered their ships by watching the skies above and their mirror upon the waves below. At night, the sea becomes a second sky, its ripples catching moonlight, its surface scattering constellations. Imagine yourself lying on the water, held by it as gently as by air, watching stars both above and beneath you. You are not separate from the cosmos. You are inside it, floating in its reflection, a star cradled by a sea that glows with memory. The 38th fact is that tides are not only pulled by the moon, but also by the sun. Together, they create rhythms of neap and spring, moments when tides are soft and moments when they are strong. It is a cosmic duet, the sun and moon both touching the waters of Earth, guiding their rise and fall. To think of this is to feel that you too are moved by forces greater than yourself, forces you cannot see yet always feel. Tonight, as you breathe, you rise and fall with those same tides, rocked gently by the universe itself. The 39th fact is that the ocean has lakes within it. In the deepest places, pools of saltier water form at the bottom, heavier than the sea around them. They look like lakes on land, with shorelines, with waves of their own, but they are hidden in the dark. Strange creatures drift above them, never crossing into their heavier depths. These lakes within the sea remind us that even within vastness there are smaller worlds, tucked away, living quietly. Your own mind is like this, too. Oceans within oceans, dreams within dreams, each one waiting for you to wander through. The 40th fact is that the ocean is not only outside us, but inside us. The salt in our blood, the water in our cells, the rhythm of our heartbeat, all echo the sea from which life first came. When you close your eyes, you carry the ocean within you, its memory pulsing through every vein. You are not separate from it. You are part of its story, one ripple in its endless tide. To rest tonight is to return home, to sink back into that vastness, safe, whole, and infinite. The sea does not hurry its telling. It unfolds itself in whispers, in ripples that reach you long after they began, like the echo of a dream you half remember. By now, its voice is familiar, steady, like a companion who has promised to stay through the night. The ocean leans closer once again, and with every breath you take, it lets slip another secret. These next 10 truths arrive like shells upon the shore, small, delicate, each carrying the memory of deeper waters. The 41st fact is that the ocean is restless even when it seems still. Beneath its surface, water is always moving, not only in waves or tides, but in subtle upwellings, where cold, nutrient-rich water rises from the depths to the light. These upwellings feed life, creating fertile zones where fish and birds gather. What looks like calm from above is, below, a generous stirring. And so it is with you. Stillness is never empty. Even when you rest, your body repairs, your mind renews, your inner tides keep moving. Tonight, you too are an ocean, alive in your quietness. The 42nd fact is that the ocean makes music with the wind. When air brushes its surface, waves form, and those waves break into foam, into spray, into whispers. Sometimes the sea roars, sometimes it hums, sometimes it sighs so softly you could mistake it for silence. The shoreline becomes its instrument, rocks, sand, cliffs, and caves shaping its tones. Each coast has its own song, as if the ocean composes anew wherever it touches land. Imagine falling asleep to that eternal concert, the world's oldest lullaby, the hush of wind and wave woven into one endless piece. The 43rd fact is that some creatures of the ocean glow not for beauty, but for survival. Squids flash to confuse predators. Tiny fish glimmer to lure prey. Others shimmer only when touched, leaving trails of light behind. To see them is to watch living constellations writing themselves into the dark. It is not unlike our dreams, which light up the night within us, sometimes guiding, sometimes hiding, sometimes glowing only to vanish. As you rest, your dreams too will glimmer, secret and fleeting, yet luminous in their own way. The 44th fact is that the ocean holds rivers of ice within it. In the coldest regions, icebergs drift, broken from glaciers, carrying fresh water into salt. Some are as large as mountains, yet 9/10 of their bodies remain hidden below the surface. What we see is only a fraction of what exists. So it is with most things. What we notice is only the surface, while the greater truth rests unseen beneath. To dream of icebergs is to dream of patience, of the hidden depths that support the smallest visible glimmer. Tonight, you may feel yourself as that iceberg, only a part awake, the rest of you resting unseen, held by the deep. The 45th fact is that the ocean can sing with storms. When lightning strikes, the water carries its echo. When winds howl, waves answer. The sea does not resist the storm. It moves with it, takes it in, becomes part of it, and then, when the fury passes, it returns to calm. There is wisdom in this. That turmoil is temporary, that stillness waits beneath. Whatever storms you have carried today are already dissolving, their noise fading, leaving only the quiet tide of your own breath. The 46th fact is that the ocean is a home that never ends. From the tiniest plankton to the largest whale, from coral reefs to abyssal plains, it cradles more species than land itself. Scientists believe millions of kinds of life still remain undiscovered beneath its surface. To think of this is to imagine a library that is still being written, page after page, chapter after chapter, with no final word. Your own dreams are like this too, an ocean of images, faces, memories, and visions, some known, some hidden, some yet to be discovered. Tonight, you sail within that library, drifting gently among its pages. The 47th fact is that the ocean breathes in colors we cannot see. Beyond human sight, some creatures perceive ultraviolet light or polarized patterns invisible to us. Shrimp see rainbows where we see only blue. Fish navigate by glimmers we cannot imagine. The ocean is brighter, more alive than our eyes reveal. To remember this is to understand that reality is always wider than we perceive. And so, as you close your eyes, you enter a spectrum beyond vision, a dream color that belongs only to the night. The 48th fact is that the ocean has its own gardens of glass. In its depths, tiny organisms called diatoms create shells of silica, intricate and delicate, like windows or snowflakes. These shells, invisible to the eye, drift by the trillions, feeding life, falling to the seafloor, building layers of shining dust. Entire landscapes of glass exist beneath the waves, unseen yet real. As you fall asleep, you might imagine walking through such a garden, each step leaving no sound, only light sparkling in silence. The 49th fact is that the ocean has a memory of fire. Underneath its waters lie volcanic ridges where magma rises, shaping new seafloor. Even in the darkest depths, Earth's fire breathes, hidden by waves. It is a reminder that within calmness lies strength, within water lies flame, within stillness lies creation. As you rest, you carry this balance too. The quiet of your body paired with the fire of your spirit, both in harmony, both waiting to carry you gently toward morning. The 50th fact is that the ocean has no end to its giving. It feeds us, clothes us, steadies our air, shapes our weather, inspires our songs. And still, it asks for nothing in return. It has carried civilizations across its back. It has taken their reflections in its mirror. It has listened without judgment to every voice that has spoken upon its shore. Tonight, it listens to you too, not your words, but your breathing, the simple rhythm of your existence. In its vastness, you are not lost, but found, one heartbeat within a larger pulse. And as you drift into sleep, the ocean itself seems to sigh with you, both of you surrendering to the same endless rest. The night grows deeper, and the ocean grows closer, though it has never moved. It waits, vast and steady, as if it knows you are listening, as if its voice rises and falls with your breath. Each fact it shares is not a lesson, but a lullaby, not a demand, but a gift. By now you have drifted far from shore, into waters that are endless yet calm, and the sea leans in to tell you 10 more truths, soft as foam dissolving on sand. The 51st fact is that the ocean shapes the land more than land shapes the sea. Waves carve cliffs, smooth stones, build beaches, carry sand across continents. What seems solid on shore is always changing under the patient touch of water. Every coastline is a story written by the ocean's hand. To imagine this is to feel how gentle persistence reshapes the hardest things. Even your worries, as solid as they may feel, are being smoothed tonight by the tide of rest, until they are rounded, softened, dissolved. The 52nd fact is that the ocean carries mountains of drifting life called plankton blooms. At certain times, in certain places, the sea turns green or red or golden as billions of tiny beings gather in a living wave. These blooms feed fish, whales, birds. They are the base of the ocean's endless chain of life. To know this is to see how something so small can become vast when it gathers together. Imagine yourself part of such a bloom tonight. One thought among many, one breath among countless, all glowing quietly in the dark. The 53rd fact is that the ocean has deserts of blue, but it also has oases. In places where currents bring nutrients upward, life gathers in abundance. Fish swarm, birds dive, whales pass through. These are hidden gardens, invisible on the map, yet overflowing with energy. To dream of them is to know that even in wide stretches of emptiness, there are places of unexpected richness. Your mind, too, carries such oases, moments of beauty that rise suddenly, without warning, nourishing you in the quietest of ways. The 54th fact is that some creatures of the ocean lives longer than empires. The Greenland shark can live for centuries, moving slowly in cold waters, its eyes clouded by age, its presence steady. Corals can grow for thousands of years, silent architects of time. The sea does not measure years as we do. It measures in patience, in endurance, in quiet continuance. As you drift into sleep, you too step out of the small measure of hours into something slower, older, vaster, the rhythm of the sea itself. The 55th fact is that the ocean is a traveler of sound. Whales speak across hundreds of miles. Earthquakes echo through its depths. The shifting of ice sings across the poles. Even the tiniest crackle of shrimp can be heard like static in the silence. To place your ear against the ocean is to place your ear against the earth. Tonight, as you listen inward, you too may hear your own ocean of sound, heartbeat, breath, the soft murmur of your body keeping you safe, carrying you gently into dreams. The 56th fact is that the ocean hides rivers of light. At night, bioluminescence flickers across waves. In the deep, fish carry lanterns from within their bodies. Jellyfish pulse with slow fire. This light is not borrowed from the sun. It is made from life itself, a quiet defiance of darkness. To dream of this is to remember that even when all around you feels dark, there are hidden lights within you, glowing softly, enough to guide you forward. You carry lanterns inside your soul, just as the ocean carries its stars. The 57th fact is that the ocean remembers the moon not only in tides, but in cycles of birth. Many species time their spawning to the phases of the moon, as if listening for its signal. Coral release their eggs when the full moon glows. Fish scatter their young in time with its pull. It is as if the moon and ocean share a secret calendar, a language written in gravity and glow. Tonight, as you rest beneath the same moon, you are also part of this rhythm, your body swayed by its invisible hand, your dreams timed to its quiet pull. The 58th fact is that the ocean has scars. Beneath its waves lie canyons carved by ancient rivers, now drowned, and shipwrecks resting like forgotten bones. There are scars left by meteor impacts, by shifting plates, by storms that once shook the world. And yet, the sea covers them, heals them, folds them into its story. To imagine this is to feel comfort, that your own scars, too, are folded into you, part of your story, softened by time, carried without shame, becoming part of the deep you are. The 59th fact is that the ocean gives us breath even in ways we do not see. Seaweed and kelp release oxygen, plankton exhale life, currents stir the air we depend on. Every breath you take is shared with the sea, an invisible exchange that has gone on since before humans first spoke. Tonight, as your chest rises and falls, you are in rhythm with the ocean's own respiration, joined in a cycle that never ends. The 60th fact is that the ocean has no boundaries of its own. We draw lines upon maps, calling them seas or nations, but the water does not know these divisions. It flows where it will, one body, one whole, circling the globe in quiet unity. To rest tonight is to dissolve boundaries as well, to let go of separations, to drift into oneness with the world, to become like water, continuous, borderless, infinite. The ocean's voice does not tire. It has been speaking since before time had a name, and still it goes on, slow, patient, never demanding, only offering. By now, its rhythm has become your rhythm, waves rising and falling like your chest, silence folding over itself like the spaces between heartbeats. The sea is endless, but it does not overwhelm. It surrounds you the way night surrounds the stars. Vast, yes, but gentle. Tonight it shares 10 more truths, 10 more lanterns flickering upon the dark water, guiding you quietly toward rest. The 61st fact is that the ocean holds more history than libraries. Beneath its surface lie shipwrecks ancient and new, vessels that once carried dreams, hopes, burdens, and songs. Some rest untouched for centuries, sealed away like time capsules. Others slowly surrender to coral and fish, becoming part of the living sea. Imagine these wrecks not as losses, but as whispers, stories folded into the water, preserved without pages. You, too, carry your own shipwrecks, but in sleep they rest quietly, not haunting but softening, becoming part of the sea of memory that drifts inside you. The 62nd fact is that the ocean is Earth's great mirror. From space, it reflects light back into the sky, cooling the planet, shaping its climate. Its surface glitters with sun by day and moon by night, shimmering like a sheet of glass stretched across the world. And beneath, it reflects us as well, our awe, our longing, our need for horizon. To gaze into it is to gaze into yourself, as if the sea were showing you your own depths. Tonight, in closing your eyes, you become that mirror, still, vast, and filled with quiet light. The 63rd fact is that the ocean cradles migrations that span the globe. Humpback whales cross thousands of miles from feeding grounds to breeding grounds, returning to the same places year after year. Sea turtles travel oceans only to return to the beaches of their birth. Even tiny eels slip across continents, guided by invisible maps written in water. These journeys remind us that distance is not separation, that cycles always bring us home. As you drift into dreams, you are also migrating, leaving the shore of wakefulness, crossing the ocean of sleep, always guided back by the pull of morning. The 64th fact is that the ocean has colors that shift with the seasons. In spring, plankton bloom, painting the waters green. In summer, calm seas shimmer blue and gold. Autumn stirs storms, turning waves dark and silver. Winter brings ice, white and quiet, sculpting the edges of the sea. Each season is not an end but a turn in a wheel, one continuous circle. Your own life is much the same. Moments of bloom, of calm, of storm, of stillness, all turning, none permanent, all part of the same whole. Tonight you rest inside that circle, held by the ocean's turning. The 65th fact is that the ocean remembers the touch of rivers. Every river, every stream, every drop that leaves the mountains eventually returns to the sea, carrying soil, salt, and memory with it. The ocean is where all waters reunite. Imagine those rivers like veins, carrying the pulse of land back into the heart of the sea. And you, too, are a river tonight, carrying your day, your thoughts, your emotions, into the vastness where they will dissolve, leaving you clear, open, and at rest. The 66th fact is that the ocean is a keeper of secrets we have barely touched. There are creatures we have never seen, landscapes unmapped, caves unexplored, songs unheard. More than 80% of it remains mysterious, and yet it is not an emptiness. It is abundance waiting in quiet. To think of this is to feel comfort in not knowing everything. You do not need every answer to rest. You do not need every map to find your way. Mystery itself can hold you, soft and infinite, as you drift into sleep. The 67th fact is that the ocean carries light in its skin. The very surface of the sea bends sunlight, scattering it into colors, into patterns that ripple across sand and fish alike. These shifting mosaics are called caustics, and they turn even the simplest shallow water into a living painting. Imagine floating just below the surface, the sun writing golden lines across your skin, a net of light moving gently with the water. To dream of this is to feel warmth without weight, light without sharpness, only soft illumination wrapping you as you drift. The 68th fact is that the ocean is shaped by the Earth's heartbeat beneath it. Tectonic plates move slowly, pulling the seafloor apart, creating valleys, raising ridges, opening scars. Volcanoes erupt quietly beneath the waves, birthing islands, feeding life with minerals. The sea rests above this slow pulse, as you rest above your own. The world is never still, yet its movement is not chaos but creation. Tonight, even as you lie in silence, your body is shifting, healing, renewing, carrying you gently forward. The 69th fact is that the ocean holds echoes of ancient life. Fossils hidden in its sediments tell of creatures long gone. Armored fish, strange trilobites, beings whose shapes feel like dreams. The ocean was their cradle, their cathedral, their home. And though they are gone, their memory remains, pressed into the very fabric of the seafloor. You, too, are built of memory, ancestors, stories, moments, all layered inside you. To rest tonight is to sink into that depth, not to remember everything, but to feel held by it, supported by the lives that came before. The 70th fact is that the ocean has no need to rush, for it has always been and always will be. Its tides return, its currents turn, its waves rise and fall in endless patience. Time itself feels slower when you listen to the sea, as if hours are stretched into eternity. Tonight, you are part of that patience. There is no need to hurry into sleep. It will arrive as the tide does, naturally, inevitably, in its own gentle rhythm. The sea has been patient with you, revealing itself slowly, one truth at a time, like a friend who knows that quiet company is more precious than hurried words. By now, its rhythm has become your own rhythm, its breath your breath, its silence your silence. Tonight, the ocean opens again, letting 10 more secrets rise to the surface. They come not as waves crashing, but as ripples spreading outward, gentle and endless, each one carrying you deeper into calm. The 71st fact is that the ocean has hidden waterfalls, where dense, cold water meets lighter, warmer water. One sinks beneath the other, cascading downward like rivers in the sky turned upside down. The largest of these is beneath the Denmark Strait, where icy Arctic water tumbles into the Atlantic, a flow far greater than any waterfall on land. To imagine this is to picture invisible rivers, vast and silent, falling endlessly in the dark. And just as the ocean has unseen cascades, so too does your mind. Currents flowing quietly within, reshaping without noise, carrying you into deeper rest. The 72nd fact is that the ocean paints its own skies. At dawn and dusk, mist rises from its surface, softening the horizon, blurring the boundary between sea and air. Sometimes the sky borrows the sea's colors, glowing pale blue or stormy gray. Other times, the sea mirrors the sky, turning pink with the setting sun or silver beneath the moon. The two are never separate. They are mirrors to each other, twin breaths in one great body. Tonight, as you close your eyes, you rest in that union, part ocean, part sky, holy calm. The 73rd fact is that the ocean has deserts of silence, but also places of astonishing noise. In coral reefs, shrimp crackle, fish grunt, parrotfish nibble stone into sand. The water becomes a hidden orchestra. The sounds are not loud to us, but to creatures within, they are a language, a song of survival and belonging. Even silence in the ocean is full of faint whispers. To think of this is to remember that your own silence is never empty. It hums with heartbeat, breath, thought. As you drift, you may feel that inner symphony, soft and steady, carrying you into sleep. The 74th fact is that the ocean holds mountains of drifting ice. At the poles, ice shelves stretch for miles, calving great blocks into the water, each one beginning a long journey as an iceberg. These floating mountains carry within them air bubbles trapped for thousands of years, tiny time capsules of ancient skies. To dream of icebergs is to imagine drifting slowly, unhurried, carrying the past within you, but still moving gently forward. You too carry memories, but tonight they drift softly, no weight, only cool clarity, dissolving into rest. The 75th fact is that the ocean's creatures are storytellers. Dolphins leap as if riding arcs upon the surface. Whales sing across miles. Fish flash colors like signals. Cuttlefish change their skin into shifting messages. None of these languages are fully known to us, but they exist, woven into the water. The ocean is alive with conversation, a chorus of voices speaking at once. Tonight, you need not understand them. You need only know you are part of this chorus. You're breathing one more voice, joining the lullaby of the sea. The 76th fact is that the ocean remembers the wind. Waves form where air stirs the surface, and when the wind dies, the waves continue, carrying its memory across horizons. These lingering waves are called swells, and they can travel for days, even weeks, long after their wind has gone. They are memory made visible, energy still moving, even in calm. To think of this is to feel how your own days linger in you, echoes of voices and moments. But like swells, they soften with distance until they fade, leaving only the vast calm of the present. The 77th fact is that the ocean grows gardens of drifting life. Kelp forests rise like underwater trees, their fronds swaying in the current, sheltering fish, sea otters, and countless hidden beings. These forests are alive with movement, yet they grow from a single root anchored in the dark. To imagine floating through such a garden is to walk through a dream where every leaf is water, every branch is a ribbon, every shadow is alive. Tonight, your own rest is such a garden, growing quietly, sheltering you in stillness. The 78th fact is that the ocean drinks the rivers whole, yet never overflows. Every drop that leaves land returns to it, but the sea's level, though it shifts, remains steady in its vastness. This is balance, endless receiving, endless holding. To think of this is to feel how you too can receive without burden, hold without breaking, breathe without fear. Sleep is this kind of balance. It takes in all the weight of your day, but it does not overflow. It transforms it into rest, into renewal, into calm. The 79th fact is that the ocean can turn to crystal in a single moment. When waves crash, they throw salt spray into the air, and in sunlight, each droplet sparkles like glass. Rainbows shimmer in the mist, fleeting yet real. The sea, so vast, becomes for an instant a prism. Life too has such moments, brief, bright, vanishing before you can hold them, but no less true. Tonight, in your dreams, you may find such prisms, flashes of light, colors that appear and fade, fragments of wonder woven into your sleep. The 80th fact is that the ocean carries eternity in its tides. Twice each day they rise, twice each day they fall, pulled by the moon and steadied by the sun. These tides have moved unbroken since before there were humans, before there were trees, before the first breath of land life. To stand by the sea is to witness eternity unfolding in gentle rhythm. And tonight, as you drift, you too are folded into that eternity, your breath the tide, your dreams the moon, your body the shore upon which calm returns again and again. The sea does not tire of telling its story, for it is a story without end. Each wave that rises is not new, yet not the same as before. Each whisper of foam is another verse in a lullaby that has been sung since the beginning of the world. You have followed the ocean this far, through silence and song, through light and shadow, and still it unfolds itself gently, offering 10 more truths, each one a lantern glowing in the dark water. The 81st fact is that the ocean's floor is alive with mountains taller than Everest, though hidden beneath miles of water. Mauna Kea in Hawaii, measured from its base on the seafloor to its summit above, is the tallest mountain on Earth, greater even than the Himalayas. Most of it lies unseen, its grandeur hidden below waves. To imagine this is to remember that greatness is not always visible. Much of who we are lies quietly beneath the surface. Tonight, as you rest, your unseen depths hold you, vast and strong, even as your body lies quiet. The 82nd fact is that the ocean carries scars of fire. Volcanic ridges lace the seafloor, erupting slowly, pouring lava into the dark, building new earth even now. Islands rise from these fires, cooled into stone, kissed into green by time. To know this is to see how creation often begins in silence, hidden, without witness. Your own renewal begins in this way, too. In quiet moments, in sleep, in the unseen hours of night where your being remakes itself. The 83rd fact is that the ocean is heavy beyond imagining. A single cubic meter weighs more than a ton, and the weight of the sea pressing down in the deepest trenches is crushing beyond steel strength. Yet within that weight, delicate creatures float unharmed, adapted to the deep, fragile yet enduring. To dream of this is to feel that even great pressure can be lived with, softened, carried. Whatever weight you feel tonight is not too much. You, like the deep-sea beings, can rest within it, safe, whole, untouched by harm. The 84th fact is that the ocean has rivers of color in its currents. Satellite eyes from above see swirls of turquoise, green, and blue, streaks of brown where rivers meet the sea, spirals of white foam curling across thousands of miles. The ocean paints itself anew each day, a canvas that shifts with every hour. To picture it is to feel beauty that is vast but fleeting, a reminder that even what passes quickly is still worth being seen, worth being cherished. Your dreams tonight will be like these swirls, patterns that come and go, yet leave behind a quiet sense of wonder. The 85th fact is that the ocean cradles creatures stranger than imagination. Transparent fish with eyes that look upward through domes of glass, anglerfish carrying lanterns on their heads, octopuses that change color and shape with thought alone. To dream of these beings is to walk into a gallery of living art, each one reminding us that life invents endlessly, that beauty is not bound by rules. In sleep, your own mind will do the same, inventing landscapes, faces, colors, and songs beyond waking reason, alive only in the ocean of dreams. The 86th fact is that the ocean breathes in cycles too vast for us to follow. Its conveyor belt of currents takes centuries to complete, carrying warm water from the equator to the poles and cold water back again. The drop of water that drifts into these paths may not return for hundreds of years. To think of this is to feel how small a day is, how brief a moment, yet also how connected it is to eternity. Tonight, you do not need to measure time. You need only to let yourself be carried in that same endless flow. The 87th fact is that the ocean once covered lands now dry. Fossils of seashells rest on mountain peaks. Deserts hold traces of ancient waves. The sea has expanded and retreated across eons, claiming and releasing land in slow breath. It teaches that nothing is fixed, that change is not loss but transformation. Your own life too shifts like this, shorelines of thought moving, tides of feeling changing. Tonight, in rest, you are free to drift with those tides, knowing they will always return you to calm. The 88th fact is that the ocean writes music we cannot hear. Waves move in rhythms, currents pulse, tides repeat, each with a tempo that shapes the world. If you could listen deeply enough, you would hear a symphony older than song, a heartbeat larger than time. Perhaps your own body hears it already, for your heart has fallen into rhythm with waves since the moment you began to listen. As you close your eyes, you may feel that you are not only hearing the ocean, you are part of its music. The 89th fact is that the ocean is a sky turned upside down. Clouds drift within it in the form of jellyfish. Meteors streak through it as schools of fish. Stars glow there as sparks of bioluminescence. To swim in it is to fall upward into another firmament, where constellations move and breathe. And tonight, as you rest, you too are falling upward, drifting into a sky of dreams, limitless and soft, filled with its own hidden constellations. The 90th fact is that the ocean is patient beyond all imagination. It waits through ages. It endures the rise and fall of worlds. It accepts rivers, storms, sunlight, and shadow, and still it is itself. To think of this is to know that you too can rest in patience, that nothing is demanded of you tonight, nothing is urgent, nothing is unfinished. There is only the tide, steady and eternal, carrying you quietly into sleep. The sea has become a familiar companion, its whispers woven into your thoughts like threads of tide and moonlight. Each secret it shares is not heavy, but light, drifting like foam upon the shore. By now you have followed its story across trenches and currents, reefs and skies, and still it offers more, for its truths are as endless as its horizon. Tonight, the ocean brings you 10 more gifts, each one rising like a wave and falling into silence, carrying you deeper into rest. The 91st fact is that the ocean has its own storms beneath the surface. Internal waves, taller than skyscrapers, move slowly in the hidden layers where warm and cold waters meet. They are invisible to us, yet they shape the sea's balance, stirring nutrients, guiding life. These secret storms are gentle in their vastness, unseen but real. To dream of them is to imagine that even within stillness, there is movement, and even within calm, there is change. Tonight, your own mind carries such waves, quiet, unseen, reshaping you as you drift. The 92nd fact is that the ocean cradles creatures that live in perpetual twilight. In the mesopelagic zone, where sunlight fades to blue shadow, fish carry glowing eyes, transparent bodies, and silent grace. They drift in a world neither day nor night, existing in between. To imagine them is to picture your own state now, drifting between waking and sleep, not fully in one or the other, but suspended, held softly in the twilight of dreams. The 93rd fact is that the ocean has deserts that bloom suddenly with life. Where currents shift, plankton may bloom overnight, drawing whales, fish, and birds into a feast. What was barren becomes abundant, as if the sea itself remembers how to give in an instant. Your dreams, too, are like this, empty one moment, blooming the next, filling with images and stories that rise from nowhere, abundant and surprising. You need not seek them. They will come, like blooms upon the sea. The 94th fact is that the ocean has mountains of salt hidden within it. When ancient seas dried, they left behind thick layers of salt that now lie buried beneath rock, deep below today's waters. These hidden deposits are remnants of oceans long gone, folded into Earth's memory. To think of them is to see how nothing is ever lost. Everything is transformed, stored, remembered in some quiet form. Tonight, your own memories rest like these layers, tucked away, safe, waiting, not gone but softened. The 95th fact is that the ocean moves in spirals. Eddies form where currents meet, circling endlessly, drawing life into their spinning centers. Some last for days, others for months, moving like slow, quiet wheels upon the surface of the sea. To imagine them is to picture your thoughts tonight, spiraling, yes, but gently, softly, circling until they dissolve into stillness. Nothing is rushed, nothing is forced. Even the spiral is only another path to rest. The 96th fact is that the ocean is filled with architects of patience. Coral polyps build reefs grain by grain, tiny creatures weaving cathedrals of stone across centuries. Shells form layer by layer, spiral upon spiral, until beauty is born from slowness. To think of this is to remember that time itself is a builder, and your rest tonight is part of that building, restoring, layering, shaping you quietly as you sleep. The 97th fact is that the ocean has its own rain. Beneath waves, tiny bubbles rise, carrying droplets upward, bursting at the surface as sprays of mist. This hidden rain refreshes the air, mixes the waters, spreads life. It is small, almost invisible, yet essential. Tonight, as you breathe, you may feel your own hidden rain, small exchanges within your body, invisible restorations, tiny renewals happening without effort, carrying you gently toward morning. The 98th fact is that the ocean holds echoes of ancient moons. Long ago, when the moon was closer, tides were stronger, waves more powerful. Over time, the moon drifted away and the tides softened, yet their rhythm remained. To think of this is to see how change can bring gentleness, how distance can bring calm. Tonight, whatever once felt strong within you is already softening, turning into rhythm instead of storm, into calm instead of weight. The 99th fact is that the ocean has forests of drifting life that rise and fall each day. This migration, the largest on Earth, happens in silence. By night, countless fish and plankton rise toward the surface. By day, they sink back into the dark. It is a daily tide of life, vast and unseen, older than humanity itself. To dream of this is to feel your own rhythm of rising and falling. Wake by day, rest by night. Your body joining this ancient pattern without effort. The 100th fact is that the ocean has no final word. It is not finished, nor will it ever be. It has carried life for billions of years and will continue long after we are gone. Its story is not one of endings, but of continuations, cycles, and return. Tonight, as you drift into sleep, you are part of this story. Not separate, not small, but part of the ocean's eternal song. And in that song, there is no hurry, no ending, only the gentle tide, carrying you into dreams as endless as the sea itself. The ocean has spoken 100 times, each truth rising like a wave, each one falling back into silence. Now, as you rest in its presence, it does not rush to tell you more, but instead begins to gather what it has already given, smoothing it together the way the tide smooths sand on the shore. What was once a collection of separate shells becomes one shining strand, a necklace of secrets laid gently across your mind. You need not recall them all. Only let them drift past you, slow and steady, until they blur into the feeling of the sea itself, infinite, eternal, calm. It began with breath. The first truths told you that the ocean is the lung of the world, that plankton unseen fill the sky with oxygen, that every inhale you take is shared with the sea. You may not remember the numbers, the measures, the names, but you remember the feeling, that each breath connects you to something vast, something older than time. And so, even now, as your chest rises and falls, you are reminded that you are not separate from the ocean. You are breathing with it, in rhythm, in peace. Then came the truths of time. The sea is older than mountains, older than memory, a cradle of 4 billion years. Its waves that lap the shore tonight are newly born, yet they carry the whisper of ages past. Beneath them lie scars of fire and canyons deeper than thought. The sea has seen the birth of continents and their crumbling, the rise of creatures and their vanishing, and still it flows, patient as eternity. To remember this is to rest within time itself, to feel no urgency, no pressure, only the quiet assurance that the ocean has always been and will always be, and that you too are part of that unbroken story. There were truths of sound. You learned that the ocean is never silent, that it hums with whales calling, dolphins clicking, shrimp crackling, icebergs groaning as they drift. Its songs carry farther than wind, stretching across horizons unseen. Some voices are low and slow, deeper than our hearing, yet they move through the world like a heartbeat beneath the skin. To know this is to realize that silence itself is full of music, and as you lie here, your body hums with its own song, soft, steady, quiet as the tide. There were truths of light. Sunlight enters water only a little before fading. Yet darkness does not remain empty. It blooms with creatures who make their own glow. Lanternfish, jellyfish, plankton, and squids, stars of the deep, constellations that move not across sky, but across water. To imagine them is to picture a second galaxy, hidden beneath your feet, alive and breathing. You do not need to see it to know it is there. Just as you do not need to see your dreams to know they will come. They are forming even now, glowing softly within you. There were truths of rhythm, tides pulled by moon and sun, waves carried by wind, currents circling the globe like a conveyor of life, migrations of creatures rising and sinking each day in silence. These rhythms are not hurried, not broken, only repeating, steady as breath. To listen to them is to listen to your own body, which is also tide, also current, also rhythm. Tonight, as you drift, you are drawn into that same pattern, rising and falling like the ocean, timeless and whole. There were truths of patience. Coral building cathedrals of stone, grain by grain, sharks gliding through centuries, kelp swaying for decades, whales crossing oceans without rush. Everything in the sea reminds us that there is no need to hurry, no need to force. Time is long, and patience is strength. To carry this into your rest is to let go of urgency, to know that sleep will come as coral grows, as currents turn, not instantly, not forced, but inevitably. There were truths of mystery. More than 80% of the ocean remains unknown, unmapped, unseen. Beneath its surface are lakes, rivers, waterfalls, deserts, mountains, valleys, whole worlds that we have barely touched. Yet this not knowing is not frightening. It is comforting, for it tells us there is always more, always wonder waiting. And so it is with your dreams. You do not need to know what they will be. They will rise like hidden worlds, surprising and vast, waiting to carry you gently where you need to go. There were truths of reflection. The sea mirrors the moon, the sun, the sky, even us. It shows us not only the world above it, but the world within ourselves. Our depths, our rhythms, our patience, our silence. To gaze into the sea is to gaze into yourself, to realize that you too are endless, layered, full of light and shadow. Tonight, as you rest, you are not apart from the sea, but inside it, reflecting and reflected, whole in your stillness. And finally, there were truths of eternity. The tides have risen and fallen since before there was breath on land, and they will rise and fall long after. The sea has no ending, only return, only continuation. It is not a line but a circle, not a story with a last page, but a song that never stops. To rest in this eternity is to feel safe, for nothing is demanded of you, nothing is urgent, nothing is final. There is only the tide, steady and endless, carrying you forward into silence. So the ocean's 100 secrets, gathered now, become one truth, that you are not separate from the sea. Its breath is your breath, its rhythm your rhythm, its patience your patience, its eternity your eternity. To listen to the ocean is to listen to yourself, and to rest with the ocean is to rest in the vastness of your own being. And as the sea finishes this part of its story, it does not close the book, but simply lets it drift from your hands. Words dissolve into waves, facts dissolve into rhythm, rhythm dissolves into silence. The ocean does not say goodbye, it only hums softly, rocking you like a tide, until you too dissolve into sleep.